Hello everybody, this is the first episode of Itchy Reviews. Today we are going to be reviewing FlowScape, an app/editor tool. I would not consider it a game per se, but it is a creative scene creator so that you can take little pictures and create little landscapes and share them to the community. There is a Reddit discussion board. I will leave links to this game and links to the Reddit at the description of this video. In the description of this video, excuse me. I'm going to show you a little bit of how to play this FlowScape, or how to use the rendering tools and the different little objects you can put into it. Now, first of all, we're going to explain every icon from the left to the right and down. Alright, so we're starting with this. Of course, we got our home icon here, and you got your new, load, save, credits, map, and of course quit. So we're going to click on the new, and it brings you into this lovely thing, which also plays lovely music that I don't really care for. It will create a random map for you to start with, and of course you can go ahead and stay here, try new seed, or clear plants. We're going to clear the plants. Now, I quite like this map. I might turn it into something for us. Now, this music, immediately I'm just going to tell you how to turn that off, actually. So, not in here. This is not the one. The little headphones right there. Boop. Boop. Don't really want any of that going on while I am recording. Sorry about that. I will add music post-editing, but it's going to be a lot lower than that nonsense. It is lovely music if you're alone, but it's not great music if you are recording. And I kind of wish every time you created a new map, it wouldn't turn that setting back on. Note to the developer, please. I do love this little app you've created. Definitely still needs improvement, and I hope to see the improvement in the future. Now that you see how to create a new, I mean, that's obvious. Here is a little panel where you can change your camera speed, how fast your camera goes. Also, camera dampening, which is basically when you move, how long you drift before you stop drifting. And if you turn that all the way off, things go crazy. So try not to mess with these too much. I mean, if you want to move around a little quicker or a little slow when you're going to take specific shots of your scenery, then this is useful. But it's not something you really want to be messing with until you've completely understand the full mechanics of this app and are comfortable in playing with your camera speed and everything. And if you've done edits like this, of course, you might be more comfortable with playing your camera speed. I actually adjusted the camera speed as soon as I got into this game because I could not stand how slow it was going. Okay, we're going to go off with that. There's a question mark there, not sure what that is. This is your FPS. Mine is low, because I'm running a video recording software behind this. We're going to go into here actually and change my quality to low. Hopefully, occasionally this will break the game. So, uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Went into not responding for a second there. That was weird. Anyways, I just want to bring up the FPS a little bit because we're about to be putting stuff in here. As you change settings, sometimes there's a little bit lag here and there. Mind you, I'm sure this is probably in very early stages. I'm sure the dev has more in store for us. I really hope that they continue on the work with this little app tool and it's not just a money grab. Not to say it is a money grab. The dev scene is very active in the Discord, the Reddit community, and so I am glad for that. We'll just see how long it holds their interest. I definitely like this tool, and I would like to see more from it since I bought it. I mean, totally. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna head on over to this. No idea what that is. Couldn't tell you one way or another. There is a tutorial on the Reddit. and I should have probably read through it a little more before I played, but I'm just showing you a little bit of the basics so you can get started right off the bat in creating your scenes. This is the size in which how fast, how large your trees, when you place them, grow, or your props grow. So basically, when you go to place something down, we're going to go right into one of these tree icons, pick a tree you want to place down, and that dings for some reason. No idea why it does that. That's a very annoying sound to me. It only dings for a certain number of items on the list for me anyways. So you just click it anywhere and it creates a tree. And so we're going to turn this down and it'll hopefully create a smaller tree if I am correct. No. What does this do then? What does this do? Oh my lord, this tutorial's turning into craps. Oh, I see. It changes the speed at which the dudes come in here. So basically, bring that all the way down, and you'll get an immediate tree. Immediate tree. Boom. I don't know why that animation is honestly there if you can just spawn these in automatically, but that's that. So we go over to here. Of course, you got your eraser tool. Boom. Boom. You just erase it. Now, one feature I would like to see in the future of this game is a terrain editor so that you can actively change the terrain on each scene. Currently, there is no terrain editor per se. There is a simple version of a terrain editor, but it has pre-loaded landscapes in it, and I would like to be able to directly control how the landscape is shaped. I don't know. I've suggested it to the dev already, so I'm not going to pester him about it. Hopefully it gets enough upvotes from the community so that he even considers putting in, he or she, I don't know the gender, I'm not going to gender assume. Okay, so here, this tool, this bar I especially like because this, I believe, changes the size of your prop. Yes, it does. Okay, so turn this down and you place in a prop, and now you see it spawned in tiny. Now, this is the feature I specifically like because if you were to say you didn't feel like this map was big enough for you. Now, there is an option to make the map bigger, and we will get in that later. But this makes it immediately easier for you just to use the map that starts out and make it seem like it's bigger when it's really not. So let's just bring our little thing down there so we only spawn one at a time, or two I guess. And so now when you go to position your camera or what have you, as long as you keep the setting at the same, everything at the same, when you go to put in more different items or whatever, from your camera view, it looks like this is a full-size tree because there's no real basis from it, so it kind of makes the, it tricks the eye into thinking that this is a tree and this is a much bigger landscape, obviously. And then, of course, yeah, you can make everything huge for no reason, but I'm not sure why you'd want a tree this big, so now it just looks like there's a tree and a little bush underneath it. Excuse me. Okay, so moving on to this slider. Oh no, this slider, sorry. I have no idea what this slider does. I've not played with all of these sliders, so excuse me for not knowing exactly everything. I'm just trying to give you a general idea of what is useful right off the bat for me, what I brought most use into. I haven't played with all of these, and I myself am a new player, but I jumped at the opportunity to create a little tutorial just to play around with some stuff and kind of showcase the items. Things are getting real laggy. Things are getting real laggy. Let's get some of these out of here so I can reclaim my FPS. My lord. I wonder I never played with these before. What is that? I don't know what that is. Is that like reflections or what's that? Changes the water somehow, but I can't. Whoa. Actually, that water looks like 10 times cooler than the murky looking water, but I'm pretty sure that probably creates more of an issue. Okay. Oh, the sun in my eye. Ow. Alright, so you have this option here. This option decides whether or not the items that you're placing, trees, grass, etc., locks to the land or is aligned vertically. Now, most of your trees, you're going to want them to align vertically, except for, I'd say, this tree. Okay, ding. This tree, I'd say, don't align vertically because it's one of these trees. And these trees tend to grow cockeyed anyways, so it's a little more natural. Okay, that's a little less natural, but it's a little more natural for them to grow uh, sideways like that. That's like very common for these types of trees. From what I've seen, they kind of grow weird. Now, this decides whether or not items are just dropped into the world or spawn. Now, what I'm talking about here is when you pop in sticks, we have it set to spawn, so it just spawns on the ground. Now, normally, there's another feature here that drops your sticks in the world dynamically, and they kind of fall more natural, so they're more in a natural, I would say, state, you know, not look like they're just placed there, but, you know, more random. Now, I would say this probably kills your FPS if you're just going to spawn in 1,000 sticks at a time, and I'm not sure why you'd want to spawn in 1,000 sticks anyways. I haven't seen much use for the sticks. I would like to see snowy type landscapes or snow that you could add, you know, just like an inch of snow above the ground or something like that. I don't know how that would work dynamically or rendering wise for the app, but I would like to see something like that because these sticks would be perfect for like a snowy type map, but I'm not entirely sure why these sticks would be on the ground otherwise. But moving on from that, that's just a little rant, something I was thinking earlier. We're gonna erase this so I can not have the lag because my computer sucks. No, I'm actually running a lot of stuff in the background right now, so if it lags a little bit, it's probably not the game, it's probably just my computer. I'm running a video editor and a video recording software plus my internet and Discord and other stuff. So, I like to have this just open so I can adjust at any time I need. So that's what that does. This, haven't got a clue. Honestly, I don't understand this feature. I'd love for the devs to tell me what this feature is about, but I don't understand this feature. I don't know if it just randomly drops things in the world. Oh my god, it does. It does. It's never done that before. Okay. When I last did this, when I last tested this, it didn't drop crap into the world, so I was confused what go meant or what any of this meant, really. And you can pick where it's filling up at, or where it fills up to, I guess. And then go. Yeah, see, I maybe, you know what, I do remember this. I had created a much larger map than this, and the props were a lot smaller, and I had wondered how sticks got throughout my map, because there were a lot of sticks, but they were smaller, because I was just goofing around and messing around with the sizes, and I had to wonder how the stick's there. I'm dumb. Okay, it was this. Okay, so that's what that does. Just randomly spawns them in for you, so you just kind of have a, I don't know, driftwood looking place here. Ugh, looks gross to me. Doesn't look like a landscape I want to picture, you know, take pictures of. Alright, keep unclicking that. Erase, 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 erase. Alright, so, we're going to move on to our next thing. let's get rid of that. What is that? Honestly, I don't know what those are. I don't know what they're supposed to be. I'm sorry, guys. I have no idea. I have no idea, guys. Okay, let's move on to something else, yeah? So, of course, you got your move tool. I don't think I have to explain this. If I do, message in the below that you don't understand any of the move tools. I feel like they're pretty self-explanatory. Place down a tree, grab the move tool, and this works with any prop. Actually, I just decided to show you guys how to use it, just in case. I don't want to assume people know how to use it. You know, move it about, grab the, of course, select again, turn it, rotate it, whatnot. This is the resizer, so make it smaller or bigger or whatever you want to change its proportions, make it weird. I kind of wish you could save your assets and copy them. I don't know if you can. Dev, please tell me. Or implement that. That would be awesome too, because it'd be cool to have a bunch of these flat looking trees going around, because these are sort of what you would find in the tundra, I think, desert, you know, like kind of like Africa trees, whatever. So I'm just gonna try to get rid of that. Oh no, wait. Oh, there we go. It was just sort of anchored in the air, so I had to make that really big. Okay. So of course that's that erase tool. This is what I really want to show everything off at. You're going to. This is the simple map creator. Why I call it a simple map creator is because it's very basic. It just has some preset land. Now you can change the texture of land, but like I said, it's very simple. I would like a way to paint the land on, but currently I'm not sure that's an option. And if it is, it hasn't been made clear to me by any of these decisions here. But you can click your ground 1, which is the top layer painted. Decide what type of ground you want for that, and then you have your ground 2, of course, and that changes the second pattern or whatever it is. And like I said, it'd be a lot better to paint this, because I feel like there should be, you know, sand here, dirt maybe a little bit over here, maybe some sand still over there or something, you know, just to repaint it. And of course, you know, change the terrain a little bit, because I don't quite understand this terrain. And then riverbed, so this changes the texture right where the water is, or wherever the water is. This will change the texture underneath the water, or rather right on the edge of the water with the parts that you can actually see. So you change that. You can change the brightness of the individual ground levels, just switch in between them, and you can change the brightness of each. I'm not entirely sure what you might need that for. I've never had any reason to change the brightness of the ground per se. I guess if you wanted to, I don't know, have dark sand for some reason, it is totally your choice on that one. Like I said, still I am kind of annoyed that I can't do much with the terrain other than height and changing the textures. But I'm not going to complain. I'm sure things will improve, and hopefully more features will be added. And then you change your tiling gradient, so you can zoom in a bunch and it's more detailed, but to me this looks crap. So I like to just do it like that. This, I'm sure, if you were making like a more bigger scene and you didn't want to add a whole bunch of shrubs or anything, you could do that, but I feel like that's just lazy. Size. This changes the size of your landscape. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend changing the size of your landscape, since you can change the size of your props and how they spawn in. But if, say, you know, you don't want your little forest to have a huge mountain beside it, you'd rather this be a small hill, changing the size of the map is easier than trying to figure out what size props to put down. Also, changing the size of the map kind of helps a little bit for normal sized props. If you really want to make a lot, of trees or whatever, and, really fill this in or do whatever, you can do that. Now, of course, like I said, there's all these different map types. Oops, okay. Apparently, size don't scale right away. Yeah, that's another thing. If you switch in between maps and the map's not set to the smallest amount, when you go to switch maps, it'll switch back to the smallest amount, and that's simple. Simple fix. Obviously, you just wanna click the size indicator, and it'll automatically go to the size that you need. Another thing, I would not advise putting down props and then deciding you want to change the size of your map, because this fun little thing happens. Put some trees on here, and then go to change the size of the map, and well, the trees don't scale with the map; they just stay the same. So that's one thing you want to try to watch out for, so you don't mess up any of your landscapes that you work so hard for. And decide you want to change the size, and you realize you can't change the size, so you have to stop wherever it is you're at. So just keep that in mind, please. Go ahead and run on over to the parts that I like to mess with personally when creating that perfect scene. Oh, I never addressed the movement controls. WASD, WASD, and the Q and E keys for up and down. And you can also use the arrow keys, but the arrow keys on my keypad are really small, so that is not an option for me. Plus, I am right-handed when it comes to mice, so I can't really do that. So, just FYI, if my computer fan is like really loud, I apologize for that. I'm unable to get anything different for the computer fan, and I don't really want to block out the vents for the computer so the computer does not overheat. Alright, so we're gonna head on over to what I like to do is the skyscape, I guess you could call it. Your sky background, everything that makes your setting. So you can change the type of sky that we're looking at. We're looking at, dusk-ish here. Some stars are coming out, I think, and oh my god, that sun is blinding. And you can, of course, change that. I'll show you that in a minute. And then you can change to, what do you call it? Milky Way, night galaxy, and everything. What everything looks like when, there's not a bunch of city lights about. And then once you've decided, what type of deal you want going on in your background, your backdrop, and you've set down, you can set down your backdrop beforehand, but I'd say create your scene first, then set down your backdrop, because it's just, kind of a last step type thing. And then you can turn the sun into the moon to make this a little more appropriate. And this is what I really like about this tool. When you get into the settings type thing, and that's this. When you get right into the settings and start messing around with your lighting, you can really create cool scenes. And I've created, night-looking scenes, and I've already gotten requests for how I did that. So essentially, when you're trying to make a light scene, you're going to want to turn the temperature up or down, more like it. I don't know why it's up on the scale. It should be this way, in my opinion. But anyways, so this is more oh my god, we're on the sun temperature, and this is more cold. It makes it feel cold, more bluish, but we're still having the problem of looking up at the sun or the moon in this case, and seeing that glint. I don't really like those shafts. Now, occasionally the sun is bright enough to create shafts and such, but for me, it is just not appealing on the eyes, in my opinion. So we can just turn that right down if we want to, or turn it all the way up. God, we're on the sun. Okay, right down. Perfect, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, really. So, I mean, you decide what you want to do. I'm just showing you how. This is how turn sky rotation. Very, very straightforward and pointed, but another thing you want to adjust if you're looking for that nice nighttime look is bring down your white balance. This will bring down, basically making it look more nightish. I mean, this is a nice clear sky night, moon's out, that cold feeling you get at night because the moon's light is actually colder when it shines on you. Yeah, so let's create just a little scene for our ending of this video. I don't want to take this more than 30 minutes, really. So, oh my god, that's a tree. It's a huge tree. I wasn't expecting it to be that big. I forgot I set everything to God size, and we don't want that setting, actually. So yeah, undo. Just Control Z, and it'll undo your last thing that you did. So that's something to note. It's good that they have that implemented right off the bat. So let's try that again. Okay. Huge tree, nighttime sky, that nice blue feeling, a little bit of that, like that, and oh, yes, I like that. Now, another thing you can change to make things a little more, I don't know, eerie. You can change the bloom a little bit. There we go. Brings this makes the moon more shiny. Definitely makes the moon a little more shiny, so it looks like the moon. And we're just gonna position that tree just right there. I kind of want a cloud like in front of it, but there's like no cloud assets. That'd be real cool if you could stick some clouds and just kind of like make it. But anyways, so I really like this view right here. So let's say I like this view. So you just come down here and you press that button. Boom. It saves the picture. The picture goes to your file wherever the game is installed at, or the game's file. There is no installer for this game. It just opens a file, you run the application. Yeah, so this is a very simple, straightforward tutorial showing you everything, basically showing the basic mechanics. Now, of course, there are other things that you can mess around with, and I can cover those in a later video. As of now, I've shown you the basics for creating that perfect mood lighting scene, or that perfect scene that you like. You can play around with all the different settings and create any type of lighting you want, but I really like the lighting aspect because that changes everything in a photo. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Links are down in the description for this game. Links to the Reddit will be down below as well as maybe my personal posts on Reddit. I don't know. I'll have to find the URLs for that. So I will see you guys in the next video. Comment and like if you want to see more of this specific game. I will be reviewing other games from itch.io, so if there are games that you want me to play, suggest them. I will buy a game once a month, probably, if there are enough games on itch.io that are coming out monthly that I specifically want to buy. If this is a game you want me to try, or a game that you want me to buy, leave a link in the description to that game so I can check it out and decide whether or not it's worth my money and time to review and or make a tutorial on if it happens to be a complicated game like this, or tool rather. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. See you then.